Guru Garanga Gandharvika Giridhari Shishi Radha Vinod Bihari Ju Ki Jai Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju Ki Jai Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva Ki Jai Nittil Pavishtam Vishnupa Rashata Rashata Shishimar Bhakti Vedanta Vaman Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vedanta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda Ki Jai. Tadya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Vyas Puja Maha Mahotsav Ki
Jai.
Jai Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Ashtatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Vigyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja Ki Jai. Nityal Pravishtam Vishnupara Shatarashata Shishmar Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gurudeva Babaji Mahārāja Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Śrīla Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Das Babaji Mahārāja Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Anugauriya Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath. Shri Jeev Gopal Bhatta Dasa Gurnath Sharda Gosvāmī Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shigor Parshad Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Kshetra Mandala Gaura Mandala Vraja Mandala Mathura Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Sarva Abhishta Pradatta Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shamakund Ki Jai. Shri Amuna Devi Ganga Devi Ki Jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi Ki Jai. Shri Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Shri Purnamasi Yoga Maya Ki Jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Shri Shri Nandotsava Ki Jai. Shri Krishna Kanhaiya Ki Jai. Dauji Ke Baya Ki Jai. Shri Nanda Baba Ki Jai. Yashoda Maya Ki Jai. Baladev Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Vrishabhanu Nandini Shrimati Radha Thakurani Ki Jai. Sarva Vraja Devi Gani Ki Jai. Sarva Sakhagan Ki Jai. Sarva Vrajavasi Gan Ki Jai. Shri Nanda Bhavan Ki Jai. Shri Gokul Mahavan Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nityalila Pravishtam Vishnupad Shishimad Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda Vyasa Puja Maha Mahotsav Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Ananta Koti
Jai.
Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Samagata
Jai.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
Jai.
Shri Thai Gaur Premanande Hari
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 Hari Bol.
Hari Bol Hari Bol Kishore Prabhu Dandavat Pranam. Let's see who else is here. Just checking on. Where's Restream? One second, I'm just trying to find Restream. I'm a little bit not all there right now because I went to sleep at 3:30 and I woke up at 4:30. So I only got 1 hour of sleep last night. Haribol Shubhananda Prabhu. So Shubhananda Prabhu saw in the previous session I was falling asleep really hardcore during the kirtan. But Haribol Ganga Mataji. So yeah, I think I'm feeling a bit more awake now. But just wanted to let you guys know. And if there's yeah, I don't know. I'm wondering if we should have another day of glorification of Śrīla Prabhupada, like maybe devotees, like if anybody who wants to, if Kishore Prabhu, if you'd like to, Shubhananda Prabhu, or Nri Hari Prabhu, Bhavatarani Mataji, Sajjan Maharaj, if anybody'd like to glorify Śrīla Prabhupada, maybe we could do that tomorrow. It's just an idea. And then the day after tomorrow, I'm going to be going out to a place called, God, I forgot the name. I think it's like Gunj or something like that. It's the place where Narottam Das Thakur entered into Samadhi. Like his milk samadhi, because he entered into the Ganga and then it just turned into milk. So I'm going to that place the day after tomorrow. So I won't be able to read the day after tomorrow, but I'll pre-record something. Maybe an article by Śrīla Prabhupāda or something. So then we'll have 3 days of Śrīla Prabhupāda glorifications. It's just an idea. Otherwise, we can start Chaitanya Bhagavat tomorrow, and then day after tomorrow, I can also just read pre-recorded Chaitanya Bhagavat video. Anyways, you can let me know later or now or whenever. All right, so for this auspicious day, I'm going to, unfortunately I don't have a mridanga with me, but I'm going to sing what Śrīla Prabhupāda wrote on the Jaladuta. Wait, did he write this on the Jaladuta or when he arrived? I forgot. Kṛṣṇa Tava Punya Habibai. Maybe he wrote this when he arrived in Boston, I think. Anyhow. Oh, Dandavat Pranams Nri Hari Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Alright, so yeah, we'll sing the song and I'll read the translation first. Kṛṣṇa Tava Pun. Okay. Oh, my dear friend, Krishna. This is, okay, Śrīla Prabhupāda wrote this on board the ship Jaladuta on 13 September 1965. Oh, my dear friend, Krishna, good fortune will be yours. Srimati Radharani will be pleased with you when you perform this supremely virtuous act, which I will now convey. This I declare to you with utter conviction. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is extremely dear to the son of Mother Shachi, Sri Gaurasundar, and his service to Sri Krishna is unequaled. He is that most exalted Guru, the most excellent and magnanimous personality in the universe, who distributes Krishna Bhakti in all places throughout the world. See Srila Prabhupada's love for his Guru, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. He said, his intense desire, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's intense desire, is that the name of Sri Gauranga be spread throughout the Western countries, that in all the cities, towns, and villages on earth, extending to all the seas, rivers, and streams, everyone chant Sri Krishna Nam. Transcendental bliss will then arise, and all directions will be conquered by the profuse mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All those who are wicked, having been influenced by Maya and distressed within this world, will become happy. The Vaishnav's desires will thus be fulfilled. I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen. 1 second. Transcendental bliss will then arise. Okay. The Vaishnav's desires will thus be fulfilled. O Krishna, although I have been ordered to accomplish this mission, I possess no qualification to do it, being very fallen and incapable. Since you are the wisest of all, I now beg for your mercy so that I may become worthy. If by receiving your mercy I obtain the treasured object of service to Sri Guru, and my life becomes thus successful, I will become joyful and by good fortune attain your association. So how should we pray to Krishna? We should pray to Krishna that we will be able to obtain the treasured object of service to Sri Guru. This is how we pray to Krishna. Then he quotes this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam 7:9-28. The translation is, thus, by associating with material desires one after another, I was following the general populace by falling into a blind well full of snakes. My dear Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the great sage Narad Muni kindly accepted me as his disciple and instructed me how to achieve the transcendental position similar to his own. How could I ever leave the service of your servant? See, this whole song is just imbued with his longing to serve Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur. How could I ever leave the service of your servant? O Kṛṣṇa, you are my eternal companion. Having forgotten you, I have suffered the kick of Maya lifetime after lifetime. Now I have the opportunity to serve you once more. If I can revive a connection with you, then I will be able to automatically meet with you. In your company, dear friends, I will experience that same joy once again. I will wander all day long, tending the cows. I will run throughout the many forests and roll on the ground. Oh, when will that day be mine? Today, that remembrance of you came to me spontaneously. Feeling great hope, I called out to you. Only because I am your eternal servant do I have so much longing. I have no refuge other than you. I want to read one short thing that Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Before we sing this, we can read something that Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja said about this. Let me see. What's a keyword? Let's type in Dhruva. No. Radharani. There it is. Okay. Here. So this is the Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja. After Śrīla Prabhupāda's disappearance, Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he declared, let me read this. I'm just making it bigger. Oops. How do I move this? Anyways, whatever, it doesn't matter. Oh, how did I lose it? Sorry. I just had it. Sorry. Oh, there it is. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Śrīla Śrīla Gosvāmī Mahārāja says, I consider him Shaktavesh avatar, and it is confirmed in his writings on his spiritual journey through the Atlantic, how he landed there in America, and the nature of his beginning the movement, his intense degree of dedication to Kṛṣṇa and dependence, and how much he made himself empty of any other desire than the order of his Gurudev, quite empty that Kṛṣṇa came down to help him, and it is corroborated that Kṛṣṇa worked on his behalf. In his poem, Prayer to the Lotus Feet of Kṛṣṇa, that's the title of it, it's called Shri Kṛṣṇa Charane Prarthana. So in that poem, we find him pleading with Kṛṣṇa, my dear brother, your good fortune will come to you only when Srimati Radharani becomes pleased with you. Seeing his Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati, as Radharani's delegation, and his order as her divine service. He humbly submitted that he did not feel himself worthy or fit to discharge the divine service. So he enlisted Kṛṣṇa in the service of his guru. He enlisted Kṛṣṇa in the service of his guru. He had completely dedicated himself to the purpose. He was so earnest in his prayer to Kṛṣṇa that he may discharge the duty that he has been given by his Guru Mahārāja, that divine force, power, came down to help him. Otherwise, it is impossible. It is not a thing of the ordinary level that anyone can do. Take the highest thing, Kṛṣṇa consciousness, to the lowest position, giving it that to the fallen souls of Kali Yuga so extensively. It cannot but be the divine power, embodied and in a great intensity and magnitude. So, Shaktavish avatar, I cannot but take him to be so. And here's another quote of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Gosvāmī Maharaj from the book Follow the Angels, Part 2. Śrīla A.C. Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj said, "My Guru is Radharani. She will be very gracious to you, Kṛṣṇa, if you help me in discharging the order of my Gurudev, if you help me in my propaganda work." Kṛṣṇa tava punya habe bhai, e punya koribe jabe, Radharani kushi habe, Dhruvayate bolito matai. If you seek anything, if you are in want of anything, Kṛṣṇa, then that is the good will of Radharani. And she will be pleased with you if you help me, because I am attempting to carry out the order of one whom is none other than Srimati Radharani personified, Radharani's Nayana Manjari. So you must help me. Kṛṣṇa had no alternative. I love that. Kṛṣṇa had no alternative but to come down to him and help in his propaganda work. He had to come. Swami Maharaj was such a great friend of mine. He went away, but he is still with me through you. He is so kind to me. He is forcibly engaging me. Where else shall we get such a good friend, such a kind friend? Jai Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupāda ki Jai. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda ki Jai. Jai Śrīla Bhakti Rakshak Śrīla Gosvāmī Maharaj ki Jai. Alright, so now we will sing this beautiful song that Śrīla Prabhupāda composed, that Śrīla Gosvāmī Maharaj was explaining. Oh my dear friend Kṛṣṇa, good fortune will be yours. Srimati Radharani will be pleased with you only when you perform this supremely virtuous act which I will now convey. This I declare to you with utter conviction. I don't think I've ever seen any bhajan, any kirtan anywhere written to Kṛṣṇa, telling Kṛṣṇa, if you want to have auspiciousness, Kṛṣṇa, then there's only one way to do it. It's that you have to make Radharani happy. And she'll only be pleased with you if you help me in fulfilling the order of Radharani's servant, you know, of my Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda. There's so much, intimacy and familiarity. And it's just so beautiful. Oh, God. Okay. I unfortunately don't have a mridanga with me, so I'm just going to have to tap on my table. And because there's a lot to read today, we'll just sing this one time through. I'm not going to do a lead and response. Okay. Kṛṣṇa tava punya habe bhai, e punya koribe jabe, Radharani kushi habe, ধ্রুবয়তি বলি তোমার তাই ধ্রুবয়তি বলি তোমার তাই ও কৃষ্ণ কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে ভাই শ্রী সিদ্ধান্ত সরস্বতী সচি সুত প্রিয়য়তি কৃষ্ণ সেবায় যার তুল্য নাই শেষে মোহান্ত গুরু জগতের মধ্যে উরু কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি দে ঠাই ঠাই কৃষ্ণ ভক্তি দে ঠাই ঠাই কৃষ্ণ সেবায় যার তুল্য নাই তার ইচ্ছা বলবান পাশ্চাত্যে টান টান হয়ে যাতে গৌরাঙ্গের নাম পৃথিবীতে নগরাদি আসমুদ্র নদ নদী সকলে লয় কৃষ্ণ নাম সকলে লয় কৃষ্ণ নাম তাহলে আনন্দ তবে হইতে বিজয় চৈতন্যের কৃপায় অতিশয় মায়া দুষ্ট যত দুঃখী জগতে সবাই সুখী বৈষ্ণবের ইচ্ছা পূর্ণ হয় বৈষ্ণবের ইচ্ছা পূর্ণ হয় সেই কার্য যে করিবারে আজ্ঞা যদি দিলে মোরে যোগ্য নাহি অতি দিন তাই সে তো মার কৃপা ও মাগিতেছি অনুরূপা আজ তুমি সবার প্রবীণ তোমার সে শক্তি পেলে গুরু সেবা বস্তু মিলে জীবন সার্থক যদি হয় সেই সেবা পেলে তাহলে সুখী হলে তব সঙ্গ ভাগ্যতে মিল তব সঙ্গ ভাগ্যতে মিল एवं जनम निपतितं प्रभभाविकूपे Kama Bhikama Manuya Prapatan Prasangat Kritvatmasat Surarshina Bhagavan Grihita Soham Katang Nu Visrije Tava Bhritya Sevam. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.28. Tumi mora chira sati bhuliya maya ralati khayachi janma janmantare aji puna e sujog jadi hoy jogajog tabe pari tuhe mili bare tabe pari tuhe mili bare tomara milane bhai abar she sukha pai gochārane ghuri din bhor koto vane chuta chuti vane khai luta puti সেই দিন কবে হবে মোর আজি সে সুবিধানে তোমার স্মরণ পেল বড় আশা ডাকিলাম তাই আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি এত আশ আজি তোমার নিত্য দাস ও তাই করি এত আশ তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই ও তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই আমি তোমার নিত্য দাস তাই করি এত আশ তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই তুমি বিনা অন্য গতি নাই ও কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে ভাই কৃষ্ণ তব পুণ্য হবে ভাই এ পুণ্য করিবে যাবে রাধারানী খুশি হবে এ পুণ্য করিবে যাবে রাধারানী খুশি হবে ধ্রুবতী বলি তোমাতাই ধ্রুবতী বলি তোমাতাই হরে কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে 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 রাম 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 হরে 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 কৃষ্ণ 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 হরে হরে Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Bhaktivedānta Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedānta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Etadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, everybody. Dandavat pranams. And Hare Krishna, Ndri Hari Prabhu, Hare Krishna. So, I was, let me just check really quickly on Facebook, YouTube. Oh, and Haribol, Raseshwari Mataji, Sudevi Didi, and Angelo, is that Angelo? I don't know how to say her name, but Hare Krishna. So, what I was thinking, what we do today is we can read from Śrīla Prabhupāda's Kṛṣṇa Book about today, about Nandotsava, Nanda Mahārāja's celebration on the birth of Krishna. So I'll just read an excerpt from that. And then also we can read from my Gurudev's Krishna, Lord of Sweetness, that book. Also my Gurudev's explanation on Nandotsava. And then I was thinking to read a glorification of my Śrīla Gurudeva when on his first tour in the West, in Holland, his glorification of Śrīla Prabhupāda. This is just an idea of what we could read today. And then, Nri Hari Prabhu, would you like to make your offering to Śrīla Prabhupada in the reading tomorrow? Would you like to speak something, some glorification of Śrīla Prabhupada?
You mean tomorrow?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll be traveling. I think I'll be able to do it.
You'll be traveling.
Yeah. So, but I could say, okay, I'll try to be. Or
another idea is we could just read about Nandotsava today from Śrīla Prabhupada and Śrīla Gurudeva, and then you can give your glorification, and then we could read Gurudev's glorification tomorrow. That way, that won't. Would you like to? What would you prefer, today or tomorrow or another day? We can also.
Yeah, I just came back. I've been kind of sick, Prabhu, and
Okay.
today I almost like fainted. I went to the temple.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had this anyhow this medical thing with I had to go to the hospital like that last week, a few days ago,
Oh,
and
no.
so yeah, I did today some glorification at the temple,
Oh,
and
good. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
they
Fully
celebrated
understand.
here today. So, but I'd like to maybe tentatively do it tomorrow. And
Okay. Okay. And yeah, and there's no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure. If you're not feeling good
okay,
tomorrow, or you're traveling or whatever, or you're just busy, absolutely no pressure. But yeah, it'd be all right.
well, thank you. That's my obligation too. And that's my service to Gurudev, Śrīla Prabhupāda.
Okay. Yes. And yeah, that would be really lovely to hear from you. And also,
Thank you.
Kishore, if you'd like to glorify Śrīla Prabhupada tomorrow, Kishore, and anybody else here also, just let me know. Everybody should get a chance to glorify Śrīla Prabhupada. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen now, and we will read from the Kṛṣṇa Book about today. One second, let me just find it. I'm just looking. Okay, cool. Kishore is on for tomorrow. Awesome. Okay, what am I looking for? Chapter 5. Okay, so the meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva, but we're not going to read that part about the meeting of Nanda Vasudeva. I'm just going to read about the festival that took place. So Śrīla Prabhupāda says, although Krishna was the real son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudeva could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nanda Mahārāja, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. And actually, I remember reading in Śrīla Prabhupāda's purports, there's an explanation. Śrīla Prabhupada himself says that actually, Śrīla Prabhupada gives evidence that Krishna isn't just the foster child of Nanda Mahārāja, but he's actually the direct child, and Śrīla Prabhupada gives evidence that in his purport that that in the verse that talks about Yogamaya, she's referred to as the younger sister of Krishna. I think the word is Anuja. Anuja is, Ja means born, and Anu, like the younger born sister of Krishna. And that can't be referred to, that couldn't be a cousin. A cousin isn't an Anuja, and nobody else is an Anuja. Only a direct sibling can be called an Anuja. And so that was some evidence that Śrīla Prabhupada himself said that this is evidence that Krishna is actually the direct son of Nanda Mahārāja. But there's, on different levels, devotees, you know what I mean? There's like the first understanding we have to we hear is that, okay, Krishna is the foster son of Nanda Mahārāja. But then when you go more deep, then the actual truth is that Krishna is the direct son of Nanda Mahārāja. So there's like different levels of understanding. And because this Kṛṣṇa book is going out to the masses, and this is the first introduction to Krishna, Śrīla Prabhupada explained it in this way. Sorry for talking so much. Okay.
Yes. If may I say a little something? Remember what you read Gurudev's lecture in Malaysia, and he talks like both. We can't deny it. You know what Bhagavatam says, and then I remember your reading of Bhagavatam with the purport and like that, and Anuja that came out that yes, it's the twin sister of Krishna. So simultaneously, but then he says he appears in the jail, but he's born in Gokula.
Yes. Yeah, and there's verses in Srimad Bhagavatam where it says, like, where when it talks about Nandan Krishna, Krishna is called Pashupanga Jaya, who is born from Nanda Baba. And but then when it talks about Krishna in Mathura, it just says he appeared. The word, I forgot what the exact Sanskrit word was for appear, but yeah, he appears, but then in Vraj, he's actually born. There's actually the umbilical cord cutting ceremony. So, but also, Krishna is definitely the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. So we can't say that he's not the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, right? But Krishna is even more so the son of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Maya. And I'm just looking at the chat. Okay, so, but Nanda Maharaj, the foster father, celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. The next day it was declared that a male child had been born to Yashoda. According to Vedic custom, Nanda Maharaj called for learned astrologers and Brahmins to perform the birth ceremony. After the birth of a child, the astrologers calculate the moment of the birth and make a horoscope of the child's future. Before the birth ceremony, the family members take baths. They cleanse themselves and decorate themselves with ornaments and nice garments. Then they come before the child and the astrologer, to hear of the future life of the child. Nanda Maharaj and other members of the family dressed and sat down in front of the birthplace. All the brahmanas who were assembled there on this occasion chanted auspicious mantras according to the rituals, while the astrologers performed the birth ceremony. All the demigods are also worshipped on this occasion, as well as the forefathers of the family. Nanda Maharaj distributed to the Brahmins 200,000 cows, which were all well decorated with cloth and ornaments. He gave the Brahmanas not only cows in charity, but also hills of grain decorated with ornaments and golden bordered cloth. In the material world, we possess riches and wealth in many ways, but sometimes not in a very honest and pious ways, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. According to Vedic injunction, therefore, one should purify such wealth by giving cows and gold in charity to the Brahmanas. A newborn child is also purified by gifts of grains and charity to the Brahmanas. In this material world, it is to be understood that we are always living in a contaminated state. We therefore have to purify the duration of our lives, our possession of wealth, and ourself. We can purify our duration of life by taking a bath and cleansing the body inside and outside, accepting the 10 kinds of purificatory processes. By austerities, by worship of the Lord, and by distribution of charity, we can purify the possession of wealth. We can purify ourselves by studying the Vedas in order to understand the absolute truth and achieve self-realization. It is therefore stated in the Vedic literature that by birth, everyone is born a Shudra, that by accepting the purificatory process, one becomes twice born, that by studying the Vedas, one becomes a Vipra, which is the preliminary qualification for becoming a Brahmana, and that when one perfectly understands the absolute truth, he becomes a Brahmana. And when the Brahmana reaches further perfection, he becomes a Vaishnav, or a devotee. In Krishna's birth ceremony, all the assembled Brahmanas began to chant different kinds of Vedic mantras to invoke all good fortune for the child. There are different kinds of chanting, known as Sutta, Magadha, Vandi, and Virudavali. Along with this chanting of mantras and songs, bugles and kettle drums sounded outside the house. On this occasion, the joyous vibrations could be heard in all the pasturing grounds and all the houses. Within and outside of the houses, there were varieties of artistic paintings done with rice pulp and scented water. There's artistic paintings done with rice pulp, and scented water was sprinkled everywhere, even on the roads and streets. Ceilings and roofs were decorated with different kinds of flags, festoons, and green leaves. The gates were made of green leaves and flowers. All the cows, bulls, and calves were smeared with a mixture of oil and turmeric and painted with minerals like red oxide, yellow clay, and manganese. They wore garlands of peacock feathers. And were covered with nice colored cloths and gold necklaces. When all the ecstatic cowherd men heard that Nanda Maharaj, the father of Kṛṣṇa, was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became spontaneously joyful. They dressed themselves with very costly garments and ornamented their bodies with different kinds of earrings and necklaces and wore great turbans on their heads. After dressing themselves in this gorgeous way, they took various kinds of presentations and thus approached the house of Nanda Maharaj. As soon as they heard that Mother Yashoda had given birth to a child, all the cowherd women became overwhelmed with joy, and they also dressed themselves with various kinds of costly garments and ornaments and smeared scented cosmetics on their bodies. As the dust on the lotus flower exhibits the exquisite beauty of the flower, all the gopis, all the cowherd women, they applied the dust of kumkum on their lotus-like faces. These beautiful gopis took their different presentations and very soon reached the house of Mahārāja Nanda. Overburdened with their heavy hips and swollen breasts, the gopis could not proceed very quickly towards the house of Nanda Maharaj, but out of ecstatic love for Kṛṣṇa, they proceeded as quickly as possible. Their ears were Haribol, everybody. Are you all still there?
Haribol.
Yeah, okay, you're still there, yeah? Okay.
Haribol.
The power went out. Yeah, okay, great. The power went out, so I had to switch over to my mobile phone. Okay. Where was I? Okay. So the gopis could not proceed toward the house of Nanda Maharaj, but out of ecstatic love for Kṛṣṇa, they proceeded as quickly as possible. Their ears were decorated with pearl rings, their necks with jeweled lockets, their lips and eyes with different kinds of lipstick and ointment, and their hands with nice golden bangles. As they were very hastily passing over the stone road, the flower garlands which were decorating their bodies fell to the ground, and it appeared that a shower of flowers was falling from the sky. From the movement of the different kinds of ornaments on their bodies, they were looking still more beautiful. In this way, they all reached the house of Nanda Yashoda and blessed the child. "Dear child, you live long just to protect us." While they were blessing child Kṛṣṇa in this way, they offered a mixture of turmeric powder, oil, yogurt, milk, and water. They sprinkled this mixture not only on the body of child Kṛṣṇa, but on all other persons who were present there. Also, on that auspicious, I remember reading they had like a yogurt butter milk fight, just like throwing everywhere. There's like butter, yogurt, milk everywhere. Also, on that auspicious occasion, there were different bands of expert musicians playing. When the cowherd men saw the pastimes of the cowherd women, they became very joyful, and in response, they also began to throw yogurt, milk, clarified butter, and water upon the bodies of the gopis. Then both parties began to throw butter on each other's bodies. Nanda Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd men and women, and he became very liberal in giving charity to the different singers who were assembled there. Some singers were reciting great verses from the Upanishads and Puranas. Some were glorifying the family ancestors, and some were singing very sweet songs. There are also many learned Brahmins present, and Nanda Maharaj, being very satisfied on this occasion, gave them different kinds of garments, ornaments, and cows in charity. I love that they had a food fight with yogurt, milk, and all that. That's how much of an abundance of yogurt, milk, and ghee there was in Vraj, that you could have a big food fight with it, and there's no loss. It is very important to note in this connection how wealthy the inhabitants of Vrindavan were simply by raising cows. All the cowherd men belonged to the Vaishya community, and their business was to protect the cows and cultivate crops. By their dress and ornaments, and by their behavior, it appears that although they were in a small village, they still were rich in material possessions. They possessed such an abundance of various kinds of milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly on each other's bodies without restriction. Their wealth was in milk, yogurt, clarified butter, and many other milk products. And by trading their agricultural products, they were rich in various kinds of jewelry, ornaments, and costly garments. Not only did they possess all these things, but they could give them away in charity lavishly, as did Nanda Mahārāja. Thus, Nanda Mahārāja, the foster father of Lord Kṛṣṇa, began to satisfy the desires of all the men assembled there. He respectfully received them and gave them in charity whatever they desired. The learned Brahmins, who had no other source of income, they were completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance, and they received gifts on such festive occasions as birthdays and marriages. While Nanda Mahārāja was worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion and was trying to satisfy all the people there, his only desire was that the newborn child Kṛṣṇa would be happy. Nanda Mahārāja had no knowledge that this child was the origin of Vishnu. He was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect him. Rohini Devi, the mother of Balaram, was the most fortunate wife of Vasudeva. She was away from her husband. Yet, just to congratulate Mahārāja Nanda on the occasion of the birth ceremony of his son, just to congratulate Mahārāja Nanda on the occasion of the birth ceremony of his son Kṛṣṇa, she dressed herself very nicely. Wearing a garland, a necklace, and other bodily ornaments, she appeared on the scene and moved hither and thither. According to the Vedic system, a woman whose husband is not at home does not dress herself very nicely. But although Rohini's husband was away, she still dressed herself very nicely on this occasion. From the opulence of the birth ceremony of Kṛṣṇa, it is very clear that at that time, Vrindavan was rich in every respect. Because Lord Kṛṣṇa took birth in the house of King Nanda and Mother Yashoda, the goddess of fortune was obliged to manifest her opulences in Vrindavan. It appeared that Vrindavan had already become a site for the pastimes of the goddess of fortune. Okay, so that's what I'm reading from this chapter. Then it's going to explain how Nanda Mahārāja met with Vasudeva when he wants to go give tax to Kamsa, but we're not going to read that. We're stopping here, just reading about the festival. And now we're going to read from Kṛṣṇa Lotus Sweetness. This is a class that we read yesterday, Chapter 2, and now we're going to read part of Chapter 1, all the way up till the killing of Putana. Give me 1 second though, my throat is completely dry and my bottle is also empty, so I just need to fill it up. Is the connection okay with my mobile data? Because usually my mobile data doesn't work very well in my room.
Yeah, it's good.
It's good? Awesome.
Oh, celebrations lasted 6 months.
What's that?
The celebrations lasted 6 months.
Oh, really? Wow.
They went and did things, and they came back, and they continued to celebrate. And Kṛṣṇa between kills, a couple of demons. And
wow, that's awesome. I didn't know that. 1 second, I'm just filling up my bottle with water. Okay. Okay, Krishna's early childhood pastimes, Chapter 3 of Kṛṣṇa Lotus Sweetness. Class that my Gurudev gave, these are classes that my Gurudev gave in Malaysia in 1998. Śrīla Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. You should come with me to Goloka Vrindavan. Devotees, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Śrīla Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. Yesterday, we heard that Krishna took birth in Gokul, and that the Krishna who appeared in Mathura mixed with, and we heard that the Krishna who appeared in Mathura mixed with that Rajendra Nandan Sham Sundar Krishna upon reaching Gokul from Mathura. We heard how baby, We heard how baby Yogamaya was taken by Vasudeva and placed in the hands of Kṛṣṇa. I'm just looking at the chat. When she was in the hands of Vasudeva Maharaj, she was Yogamaya, the spiritual pastime potency. But when Kṛṣṇa took her in his hands, she at once disappeared, and in her place came her manifestation, Mahamaya, her shadow. Yogamaya always helps souls serve Krishna, but Mahamaya punishes living entities and throws them far away from him. Kṛṣṇa did not know that this switch had happened. Kṛṣṇa took this baby in his hands and threw her onto a stone, he didn't actually throw her into the stone, he was about to throw her into the stone, but then she slipped from his hand, and at once she flew into the sky and became Durga Devi, or Mahamaya, the shadow of Yogamaya. He saw that she was 8-armed and bore many weapons, and that she was sitting on a lion. He offered his obeisance to her, and she put her feet on his head. Merely by the touch of her toe, he fell down and began to roll on the earth. He then began to pray, and then Mahamaya Devi told him, "You cannot kill me or my Prabhu. The 8th child of Devaki has already appeared in another place." So what was happening in Gokul at that time? This is what was happening in Mathura, what's happening in Gokul. In the morning following Krishna's birth, Nanda Maharaj held a big festival. The umbilical cord connecting Yashoda and her baby boy was cut. All the ladies saw this. They saw that Krishna, a very beautiful baby, had come from the womb of Yashoda, so no one in Vraj could ever believe that Krishna took birth in Mathura. They witnessed his birth in Gokul with their own eyes. They saw Krishna's umbilical cord being cut, but the residents of Mathura never witnessed his birth. None of them ever saw that. So my Gurudev is saying playfully, jokingly, the residents of Mathura may be liars regarding Krishna's birthplace, but not the residents of Vraj, the Vrajvasis. We should believe the Vrajvasis, not the Mathuravasis. If Krishna says he has taken birth in Mathura, then he is also a liar. We cannot believe Mathuresh Krishna. We should only believe Yashoda and the gopis. We should believe Nanda Baba and those who reside in Vraj. Krishna is surely the son of Nanda Baba and Yashoda. In Srimad Bhagavatam, however, Shukadeva Goswami has stated, Krishna is the son of Vasudeva. He took birth in Mathura. Is it false? It is not false. Why not? Because Shukadeva Goswami wanted to please Parikshit Maharaj. Who was Parikshit Maharaj? How was he connected with that Krishna who appeared in Mathura? Arjuna was married to Subhadra, the sister of Vasudeva Krishna, and the daughter of Vasudeva and Devaki. Maharaj Parikshit, the grandson of Maharaj Yudhishthir, he would have been happy to know that Krishna was in his dynasty. In order to please Parikshit Maharaj, Shukadev spoke like this. But really, if Shukadev had been speaking to Yashoda, Nanda Baba, or any Vrajvasi, then what would have he said? He would have said that Krishna is the son of Nanda Baba and Yashoda. Though Shukadev Goswami spoke like this to please Parikshit Maharaj, by chance, 2 things automatically came from his mouth. First, he expressed how happy Nanda Baba felt when a son was born from the womb of Yashoda. Nandastvatmaja utpane, see that's the word atmaja, born from himself, atmaja, his son. Jata lado mahamana, that's Srimad Bhagavatam 7:10-5:1. Nanda Mahārāja was naturally very magnanimous, and when Lord Krishna appeared as a son, or took birth as a son, doesn't need to use the word appeared, he was overwhelmed by jubilation. Secondly, he used the word Pashupangajaya when narrating Brahma's prayers to Krishna. No mirdate brahvapushe tadarambaraya kunjavatanksha paripichala sanmukaya vanyasraje kavala vetra vishana venu lakshma shriye mridupade pashupangajaya. That's Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14:1. So see the last word there, Pashupangajaya. Also it says Angajaya, born from the body of the cowherd. Lord Brahma said, O Prince of Vraj, you are worshipful for the whole world. O you whose complexion is the color of a new dark rain cloud. Your yellow garment beautifies your dark, fresh rain cloud-colored limbs like a steady streak of lightning. Your neck is decorated with a garland of gunja berries, your ears with ornaments, and your head with a crown of peacock feathers. A garland of forest flowers and leaves adorns your neck. A morsel of rice mixed with yogurt is in your hands. Your eyes are shaped like lotus petals, and your appearance with your flute and buffalo horn is exquisitely beautiful. Your lotus feet, which are the shelter of Lakshmi Devi, are very soft and full of affection for your devotees. You are always moving here and there in Vrindavan. You're always moving here and there in Vrindavan forest on your soft lotus feet to enjoy your pleasure pastimes. All glories unto you, Pashupangajaya, unto the son of Nanda Mahārāja, who tends the cows. Please accept my obeisance. Brahma is our guru. He cannot speak falsely. He is saying, Pashupangajaya, O Krishna, you have come from the womb of Yashoda. Pashu means Gopa or Gopi. Here, Nanda Baba is the Gopa, and Yashoda is the Gopi. Angajaya means to his son, Krishna. Angaja, Anga means body, Ja means born. So born from the body. Then Jayati Janani Vaso Devaki Janmavado. This verse is the essence of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. I think it's like the second to last or third to last verse of the 10th canto. Verse 48, chapter 90. This verse is the essence of the entire Srimad Bhagavatam. It states, Devaki Janma Vado. Some persons may say, Krishna is the son of Devaki, but this is only Vad. This is only a theory. Vad means it is not true. Oh, it's not. It's not. Vad doesn't mean that it's false. It just means that it's not completely irrefutably true. That's why we hear Maya Vad, the theory of Maya being that. So this is Janmavad, the theory of birth happening from Devaki. Krishna is the son of Yashoda Devi. This is true. Ignorant persons who do not know transcendental truths will speak differently. The truth has been written in Srimad Bhagavatam many times. When the gopis are in an angry mood, they say to Krishna, You are not the son of Yashoda because you are mischievous. You must be the son of Devaki and Vasudeva. Speaking to the audience, my Gurudev says, Are you Vrajvasis or Mathuravasis? Those who are Mathuravasis, or who wants to be Mathuravasis, should raise their hand. Then nobody raised their, no hands are raised. Now those who want to be Vrajavasis should raise their hands. All raise their hands. You should all know that Krishna is the son of Yashoda and Nanda Baba. All right, so then my Gurudev goes on to tell the pastime of the demoness Putana. Now you should again come with me to Gokul Mahavan. There Krishna was only 2 or 3 days old. He was so beautiful, so very attractive. Even his weeping was charming. Though he was naked, he was more beautiful than when he was decorated. His everything, his crying, his weeping, his laughing, his smiling, was so very charming. All the Vrajavasis were charmed. Anyhow, I'm not going to read from this because I want to read my Gurudev's glorification of Śrīla Prabhupāda. So we're going to stop here and now move on to, let's find it. I just went to purebhakti.com and this was the featured article. I haven't actually read it myself yet though. Okay, a hint of Śrīla Prabhupāda's glories. One second, I'm just checking Restream. Oh, nice. Angelo or Angelo. just got excellent condition Kṛṣṇa book for $150 in a thrift shop. That's so cool that you found it in a thrift shop. Okay, so now we're reading okay, a hint of Śrīla Prabhupāda's glories. One second, just drinking some water. This lecture was given by Śrīla Gurudeva on May 5th, 1996 in Holland, his first tour to the West. To hear the lecture, please click on this link. So if you want to hear this lecture, you can go to purebhakti.com and see the featured article there. And you can find this. Bhajami Radham Aravinda Netram Smarami Radham Madhura Smitasyam Vadami Radham Karuna Bharardram Tato Mamanyasti Katir Nakapi. I worship Sri Radha, who has lotus eyes. I remember Radha, who has a sweet smile. And I speak of Radha, who is melted with compassion. There is nothing else for me. She is my life and soul. This is from the Sri Vishakhananda Dabhida Stotram. I didn't say that right. Anyways, verse 131 by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. My Gurudev says, first, I offer my heartfelt expressions of devotion at the lotus feet of my Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishto Om Vishnupad Ashtatarashata Shishimad Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Gosvāmī Mahārāja. I am also offering my so much Shraddha, my honor, at the lotus feet of my Shiksha Guru, Sri Srimad Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja, and also to Śrīla Prabhupāda Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur. By the causeless mercy of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur, we are seeing so many devotees. Holland is a little country, so I could not fathom that I would meet so many devotees here. It is by the grace of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja, who came to fulfill the desire of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and especially the desire of his Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Thakur Prabhupada. See, this is how a pure devotee glorifies Śrīla Prabhupada We read Srila Goswami Maharaj glorifying him in this way, and now we're hearing my Gurudev glorifying him in this way. That what his glory isn't just going to making the whole world Krishna conscious, establishing a temple in every town and city, getting the whole world to chant Krishna, like all these amazing feats. That's not how they glorify him. That's the secondary glorification, but the main glorification is how completely dedicated to the desire of his Gurudev, Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupāda, how dedicated he was to that, fulfilling that desire. That's his main glory, and everything else came automatically from that dedication, that desire to please him, to fulfill his order. The entire world knows Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur as Prabhupada, and any devotee can know his own bona fide Gurudev by that title. After the disappearance of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, his disciples gave him a special kind of honor, as they did not want any acharya other than him to be addressed as Prabhupada in India. Actually, there was a meeting with all the disciples, with all the main disciples of Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and they all made an agreement that nobody would ever take this title, Prabhupada. So the disciples of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj called him Prabhupada, and there's certainly no harm in that. Any self-realized guru in our line can be addressed by this word. When we say Jai Prabhupada, we think of our entire Guru Parampara from top to bottom. If any guru who is a disciple of Śrīla Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur feels that this honorific title is used for our Gurudev, so I should not use it, this is another thing. Otherwise, anyone can use this title. Śrīla Gurudev, Śrīla Prabhupada, Shripad, all these titles are used for Gurudev. But yeah, Śrīla Prabhupada wasn't in that meeting. I'm not even sure if, I think I remember Padmanabha Maharaj talking about this. And so, but that's why it caused a huge controversy when Śrīla Prabhupada started accepting this title, that his disciples were calling him Prabhupada. And that's why there was such a big thing. But my Gurudev would strongly defend Śrīla Prabhupada being called Prabhupada. When I came here to Holland, especially today, I was overjoyed to see you all. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj came to the West penniless on this Scindia, is that how you say it? Scindia navigation ship, with old and torn clothes, and a worn and torn Gita, and 3 volumes of Srimad Bhagavatam. This was his only luggage, along with 1 pair of karatals and 2 mantras, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, and Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction was that very soon a day will come that devotees will preach my name, Krishna, Ram, Hare, Gaur, and this chanting will go to each and every village of the world. Srila Swami Maharaj, and for that matter, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all his followers, did not come to this world for any worldly gain. He did not come for rupees or guilders, that's Dutch money, or pounds. He came to give the real treasure of Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everyone. Not just devotees, but anyone to whose ear the Maha Mantra would go to, whether that person is a tree, grass, animal, man, god, or goddess. Wherever it would go, it would reach everyone's ear and take them towards Krishna, towards God. He not only came penniless, with not a single coin, but there was no one to give him swagatam, no one to welcome him when he arrived. He came alone. Actually, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha and Krishna were with him, and his Gurudev and Guru Parampara were with him. But this was not seen externally. Everyone saw that he was alone, but he was not alone. It seems that he sometimes felt alone on the ship, but actually, he knew that Śrīla Prabhupāda, Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur, the entire Guru Parampara, Radha Krishna, and their whole family, the Ashtasakis like Lalita and Vishaka, and also Rup Manjari and all the Manjaris, and the entire Vrindavan Dham were helping him there. He made such a platform throughout the world in each country that now so many devotees with mridangas and kartals are singing Hare Krishna and Hari Bol. And that all these devotees singing Hare Krishna and Hari Bol, they are receiving me now. Tears come when I think that in these countries there is not a single devotee. There were, of course, many people in the different countries from India, but there were no ekantik Vaishnavas, no pure devotees fixed on the worship of Radha and Krishna. There may have been worshippers of Nārāyaṇa, Dwarkadish, Ramachandra, and Lakshmi Narayan. There may have been pure Vaishnavas, as Ramanujacharya and his followers were pure Vaishnavas. But there is no pure worship of Rajendra Nandan Shama Sundar. Here, 200 or 300 devotees were waiting for me with mridanga and kartals. But throughout the world, there are perhaps hundreds of thousands. I am overwhelmed by this. What a miracle he performed in a very few years. And if he had more time, he would have performed so many more miracles. When he came, there were so many obstacles. Practically everyone was not only eating eggs and fish, but also cows. And they were busy drinking and making merry. They had no awareness of Krishna, no idea who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Rather, they had their own conception of God and were simply praying to him, God, give me bread and butter. That's all, not more than that. He played such a good role that in a short time, devotees like you began to worship Radha Krishna, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Gaura Nityananda Prabhu. I knew him from the very beginning when he first came to Mathura, as he was a friend of my Gurudev. One day he told me a story. He said, when I took initiation from Srila Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Gosvāmī Thakur, he told me to preach in Western countries in the English language. He said that he would frequently come to meet with his Gurudev, and once he read a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, Yasyaham anugrihnami harishye tad dhanam shanai tato dhanam tajantyasya swajana dukadukhitam. That's from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 88th chapter, verse 8. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, if I especially favor someone, I gradually deprive him of his wealth. The relatives and friends of such a poverty-stricken man then abandon him. In this way, he suffers one distress after another. Okay, so that's going to be the result if you get Krishna's mercy. Ready for it? 1 second. For one who takes shelter of Krishna, Krishna takes away everything, and that devotee becomes a street beggar. Then, if he doesn't give up Krishna at that time, Krishna proceeds to give him everything. He told me, I was so afraid that Krishna would take everything from me. I was worrying, what would I do? I am living with my wife and children, and I'm a manager of Bengal Chemicals. He was the manager at that time, and if he would have stayed there longer, he would have become the owner. But he left that managerial seat and came to Allahabad, where he made his own company and made his own medicines. He built a very good business and opened a factory, and so many persons were engaged in helping. But soon that factory failed and was given to others, at which time he began his medical shop, which also failed. He then engaged in selling his own medicine alone, which at first sold, but then also failed. Krishna would not allow it to continue. Look, there's an old picture of Keshavji Gaudiya Math, which is now no more. It's been knocked down and rebuilt. Yeah. He then came to our Keshavji Gaudiya Math in Mathura penniless, and I honored him there. And I had also met him before in Kolkata, where I also gave him so much respect and honor. I used to prepare chapatis with ghee and vegetables for him, and he was so pleased with me. We became bosom friends. At that time, I was Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Mahārāja, and he was Abhay Charanaravinda. I told him, "You are so qualified. Please take sannyas at once without delay." It was at that time that he told me that story, saying, "I was fearing that everything would be taken away from me and that I would become a beggar. I see that I'm becoming more and more of a beggar, and at last, if I take sannyas, I will become a street beggar." At that time, my Gurudev came from Navadvip, and they embraced. At that time, my Gurudev came from Navadvip, and they embraced each other. I told Gurudev that I had requested Abhay Charanaravinda to take sannyas, and then he also requested him to take sannyas and to preach everywhere. A devotee of about 90 years old, named Sanatan Prabhu, a disciple of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Thakur, came and said to him, "You are fearing. I am 99 years old. If you take sannyas, I will also take sannyas." Then he said, "Yes, I will take sannyas." And there's a picture. Śrīla Prabhupāda is a new sannyasi. There's Muni Mahārāja and my Param Gurudev. Oops, sorry. Thus, on the good occasion of Purnima, of Vishwarup Mahotsav, he took sannyas. I made his danda myself, and I wrapped the cloth around it. I made his uttariya, the upper sannyas garment, and I also showed him how to wear the sannyas clothes. Guru Maharaj came and performed the fire yagya, and Krishnadas Babaji Maharaj came and sang kirtan with so many brahmacharis. Sheshai Prabhu was there at that time also. Actually, it was on this day, Sheshai Prabhu told me that it was on this day that he put on saffron cloth. Also, the day of Śrīla Prabhupāda's sannyas. He also took brahmachari cloth then. Then he became Bhaktivedānta. On one hand, I was Bhaktivedānta first, but he was also Bhaktivedānta first, as his Guru Maharaj, Śrīla Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, had given him the nickname, Abhay Charana Bhaktivedānta. Yeah, so Śrīla Prabhupada was the first one to receive that title, Bhaktivedānta, and then my Param Gurudev decided to use that title for all his sannyasis. Every sannyasi became Bhaktivedānta, and my Gurudev was, one of the 3 first sannyasis. So, in bhakti, he was senior to me, and in sannyas, he was junior to me. When we met, he would often request me to perform kirtan. Jaya Radhe Jaya Kṛṣṇa Jaya Vrindavan Hari Haraye Nama Kṛṣṇa Yadavaya Namaha, and especially Shri Rupa Manjari Pada She Mora Sampada She Mor Bhajana Pujan. Some persons say that he did not preach Raganuga Bhakti, but what is more Raganuga than his bhajan? What is more Raganuga than his bhajan? Shri Rupa Manjari Pada She Mor Sampada She Mor Bhajana Pujan. This is the best kirtan of Ragatmika, of Krishna's personal associates. What to speak of Raganuga, those who are following in the footsteps of those associates? Ragatmika is not sadhan bhakti, as is Raganuga. It is performed only in Goloka Vrindavan, not here in this world. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj came for this purpose. that from Vaidhi Bhakti, we will develop through Sadhan Bhakti to Bhav Bhakti, and then to Prema Bhakti. He has not only come to clear the jungles and for Harinam, he wanted the people of the world to realize the identity and meaning of Harinam. He did not want them to chant Harinam without any ras. He wanted them to become so attached to chanting Hare Krishna that they would know that they would not be able to ever leave it. And he wanted their taste and attachments to increase continually. Now we are chanting and remembering, but it is a rare devotee who tastes that chanting. If any taste will come, that devotee will not be able to leave Krishna Nam. Rather, his devotion will develop to become Bhav Bhakti. Srila Swami Maharaj has not only come to clear away jungles and thorns, he has come to give this. He had very little time, and when he was going to give it, Krishna called him and said, "Your task is finished. Come on, come on. Come and serve me here with Radhika." He called me to his bedside a few days before his divine departure, and, I do not know why, he said, "Excuse me for whatever I have done wrong." I replied, "You have not done anything wrong." Then he said, "I have done some wrong. I know that," he objected. To preach and to encourage the Westerners, I have said, living in Vrindavan, my godbrothers are simply taking their meals and sleeping. I said this only to give inspiration to those devotees of mine who do not know the ABCs of bhakti. I know that my godbrothers are so qualified. If they were not qualified, why did I take sannyas from Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Kṛṣṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj? I also respected Śrīla Sridhar Swami. Why I respect them as my Shiksha Gurus if I had considered that they are not superior to me? I respected them so much. Please excuse me and request my godbrothers to excuse me. I told him, "What you have done is not an offense. You did it for preaching and to teach your disciples. It is not anything to be excused. You did a marvelous thing. All the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna are pleased with you by the miracle that you have performed in the Western countries, a place of flesh eaters and wine drinkers. They were like beasts, and you have turned them into good devotees. We are so proud and indebted to you for this work." He ordered me, and actually the recording of this is available on purebhakti.com. You can hear the audio and you can read the transcription. He ordered me, "You should do the rest of my work, perform my samadhi ceremony and viraha mahotsav, and teach my devotees how to develop in bhakti so that they do not remain on the same level they are at present." I told him, "I have to say something to your disciples." He at once called his senior devotees. He called Tamal Krishna Maharaj, who was perhaps his secretary at that time. And he called Bhavananda Maharaj, Jai Pataka Swami, Bhagavan Das, Hansaduta, Brahmananda, and about 100 other disciples. When they came, I told them, "Do not think that he will die. He will be in our Guru Parampara forever. When he leaves, you will think that he is no longer on this planet, and then you will quarrel with each other and disrespect Vaishnavas. I am telling this to you. I am telling this to all of you." Then he told them, "You should patiently hear and make a record of this." And then I continued, "Do not quarrel among yourselves. Rather, come in the line of Swamiji to fulfill the tasks for which he has come to this world, and try to develop in this line." One second. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has said that if we want to do bhakti, then we must respect all Vaishnavas, gurus, those who live in Vrindavan Dham, even those brahmanas who are not pure devotees, and even those of other sampradayas. Guru goshte goshta laishu sujane bhu suragane samantre shri namni vrajanava yuvadvandva sharane sada dhang bang hitva kururate mapurvam matitaram ayesvantar bhratas chatubirabiyache dritapada. O my dear brother, my foolish mind, taking hold of your feet, I humbly pray to you with sweet words. Please give up all pride and quickly develop deep loving attachment for the spiritual master, Shri Vrajatam, the residents of Vraj, the Vaishnavas, the Brahmanas, your Diksha mantras, the holy names of the Supreme Lord, and the shelter of Shri Shri Radha Krishna, the eternally youthful divine couple of Vraj. That's the first verse of Manashiksha. We must obey these principles. These principles are of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, our Guru Parampara, and Swamiji. He has never said to disrespect any Vaishnav. If we want bhakti, it is imperative that we give respect to Vaishnavas. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has said that Gurudev is also in the category of Vaishnav. Srila Rupa Goswami is our Shiksha Guru. Krishna is our Shiksha Guru. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is our Shiksha Guru. And Nityananda Prabhu is our Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru is not less than Diksha Guru. Try to understand all these facts. Diksha Guru is not less than Shiksha Guru. And Shiksha Guru is not less than Diksha Guru. Both are equal if they are qualified. If they are not qualified, then they are not Guru. If Diksha Guru is not giving proper honor to Vaishnavas, then he is not even a devotee. His name should be cut from the list of devotees. We must try to give honor to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers, and even to the followers of Ramanujacharya, and those serving Lakshmi Narayan and Dwarkadish, although not the same respect as we give to ekantik bhaktas of Krishna. We should give honor to the devotees of Krishna who are chanting and remembering, and at the same time, try to know the gradations of devotees. If one is serving only Krishna, and if one is serving Radha Krishna conjugal, and if one is very near and dear to Srimati Radhika, then who will be given more honor? Of these three gradations of devotees, who is superior? We should try to understand these gradations, otherwise we will see that Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, ordinary bhaktas, Srila Rupa Goswami, Srila Haridas Thakur, a Ramanuja Bhakta, and a Dhruva Bhakta are all the same. We need to differentiate. A Kanishta Vaishnava cannot differentiate, and therefore our gurus have not come only to tell us, you should not remain third-class Kanishta Vaishnavas. No. It is essential that we hear all these things and develop in our bhakti so that we may clearly understand who are Kanishta Vaishnavas, who are Madhyam Vaishnavas, and who are Uttam Vaishnavas, who are conditioned souls and who have conditioned life. Srivas Pantsai, who are conditioned souls and who are above conditioned life. Srivas Pandit and Gadadhar Pandit came to this world, but they are not sadhan siddha. They are eternal associates of Krishna. Haridas Thakur was both Brahma and Prahlad Maharaj. But who was Rupa Goswami? He was Rupa Manjari. In this Leela, Rupa Goswami used to take the footdust of Haridas Thakur and Srivas Pandit. But he is also far, far superior to them. We should know all these paths. Sorry, did I say paths? They're far, far, far superior to them. But we should know all these truths. Sorry, guys, I need to sit up. We're almost at the end now. Who preached more the heartfelt conceptions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in this world? Rupa Goswami or Haridas Thakur? Haridas Thakur spread the holy name, and he was Namacharya. But Rupa Gosvāmī was Mahaprabhu's life and soul. He gave us all the books that were the heart of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, such as Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Ujjvala Nilamani. How can we know all these truths without good association? If someone bans this and tries to stop others from going to qualified Vaishnavas, how can they themselves develop? Chanting alone will not suffice. Only chanting under the guidance of any good Vaishnava can take us to perfection. Mayavadis chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Mayavadis chant Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. What is the difference between them and pure devotees? If anyone chants Hare Krishna, with no association of Rasik Tattva Vaishnavas, they will only go to Vaikuntha, not Goloka Vrindavan. If we chant Harinam under the guidance of those pure devotees in Rupa Goswami's line, in no time we will realize something and our hearts will taste the same name. I fell asleep. If we chant Harinam under the guidance of those pure devotees in Rupa Goswami's line, and in no time we will realize something and our hearts will taste that name. Many persons call out, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Some say that Hare is Hari, and Krishna is that Krishna who took birth in Mathura, Vasudeva Krishna, and that Ram is Ayodhya Ram. Others say that Krishna and Ram are Krishna and Balaram. Our Guru Parampara has not given this idea. Our Guru Parampara has given the idea that the three names are one. Krishna is Hari, and Krishna is Ram. If any devotees worship equally two gods or two different manifestations of Krishna, their bhakti will be ruined. Krishna takes our sins and offenses. He becomes Hari. After that, he gives a momentary darshan as he gave in his form as Narayan to Narad. Narayan then disappeared and Narad began to weep. Narayan said, "By this body you cannot have my darshan. This body cannot bear the meeting of Krishna." After leaving his body, when you have your Siddha Deha, your spiritual form of Vaikuntha, your body of eternity, bliss and knowledge, then you will realize me, and you will never again die and come as a conditioned soul. When all sins go away, Krishna gives his sweet darshan and takes our minds and hearts. In this regard, he is Hari. He lives everywhere in all hearts, so he is Ram. Without Krishna, we cannot live for a moment. Rupa and Srila Raghunath Das Goswami have told us in this connection that Hare is not Hari. Hare is Hara. Radhika is Hara, which means that she steals the mind and heart of Krishna. When calling out to Hara, her name becomes in the vocative, and it becomes Hare. Hare Krishna is Radha Krishna. Ram means Krishna playing with Radhika, Radharaman. In Ras, he becomes Rama. Here Rama is Krishna, or in other words, Radha Raman Rama. Each syllable has so many good meanings. There are 32 syllables, 60 names, 8 pairs, and one in each group. Separation and meeting are both present there. Hare Krishna, and Hare Rama indicates meeting. And then Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, and Rama Rama, Hare Hare indicates separation. If we chant with this taste and also take association from our superiors, then all perfections can be attained, and we will never be able to give up Harinam. There are so many gifts that Srila Bhaktivedānta Swami Maharaj wanted to give you all, but he went away, and there is no one who could give you this. Perhaps he called me to give some things to you all, so that you will become qualified. Then you will never give up bhakti and chanting, and you will always be absorbed in hearing Harikatha. He has written so many truths in his explanation of Gita. At that time, there were very rare devotees who could understand higher things. So he also wrote many truths in a hidden way. Otherwise, his readers would not have been able to otherwise his readers would not have been able to understand. Try to develop your bhakti so you can easily take everything from him. He has written so many things in his books, but it is rare to find someone who is able to understand and receive. Our Guru Parampara, Krishna and Srimati Radhika, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu have perhaps called me here. And if I will give something to you and help you, then I will see that I am successful in this tour. I pray to them all, and they will bestow their mercy upon me, so that I may express to you all these hidden truths. At first I was so much fearing that I would have no proper English language to give anything. My English is so poor, I am so fallen, as it states in the prayer beginning Trunarapi. I am not able to express all these things to you, but you are so qualified that even if I speak in a worn and torn English language, you will still be, even then, you'll still understand. I want to help you all without any desire for gain. Looking at some of the individual devotees in his audience, he says, "Oh, I know Navadip Das so well. He is my right-hand man. And what to speak of Vrinda and Brajanath Prabhu? I was a penniless person, and they dragged me here. I never dreamt that I would go to the West. I never desired to give up Vrindavan and come here. But I think I have come to Vrindavan, to Vrinda, and Brajanath is in Vrindavan also. There are 2 Tungavidyas here, and Vrindavan Vilasini is so marvelous. So many devotees are here. I am so happy to come here. I am thinking that I am still in Vrindavan. I am never out of Vrindavan. I pray to you all that you will give up your company so that we may give energy and impression to those who have left ISKCON but are still chanting the holy name. We should try to call all devotees, those who are Kanishta Vaishnavas and those who are Madhyam Vaishnavas. All should be called, and we should embrace them and give them respect. A person who is superior has so much mercy for those who are juniors. Have no envy at all. If anyone is doing anything opposed to us, we should be like Haridas Thakur and Prahlad Maharaj. Thus we can preach the mission everywhere. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. Gaur Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Guru Parampara ki jai, Sachinandan Gaur Hari ki jai, Radha Krishna ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bo. If you have no obstacles, then all of you please meet me everywhere I go to preach. With 4 mridangas, and like at the time of Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja, with kirtan and the same inspiration and enthusiasm. Now it is noon. Now it is noon, so you can perform arati and take prasad. Swamiji is my Gurudev. Swamiji and my Gurudev used to call me to sing sweet kirtans. Now I am an invalid. But when I see you, I have inspiration to chant Hare Krishna. All right, Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankit Jai Śrīla Gurudeva ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Shri Guru Karanga Gandharvika Giridhari, Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Shri Govinda Gopinath Maran Mohan Ju ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja Śrīla Gurudeva ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Vāman Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai, Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai. Tadiya Shubha Avirbhav Titi Vyas Puja Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Kṛṣṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishtam Vishnupad Rashata Rashata Shishmar Bhaktivedānta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gurudeva Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Maha Bhagavat Śrīla Gurudeva Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Nitya Lila Pravishta Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Śrīla Jagannath Babaji Mahārāja ki jai. Shri Rupa Nugogoriya Guru Varga ki jai. Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopala Bhattadasa Raghunath Shāra Gosai Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarup Damodar Rai Ramanandari Shri Gaur Parshad Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Śrīla Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Kshetra Mandal Koromandal Vrajamandal Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Sarva Avishta Pradata Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Shri Radha Kunda Shama Kunda ki jai. Shri Yamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki jai. Shri Tulsi Maharani Vrinda Devi ki jai. Shri Bhakti Devi ki jai. Shri Purnamasi Yogamaya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev ki jai. Jai Shri Nanda Mahotsav ki jai. Shri Gokul Mahavan ki jai. Shri Rajendra Nandan Sham Sundar Shri Krishna Chandra ki jai. Shri Dao Bhaya ki jai. Baladev Prabhu ki jai. Shri Sarva Shri Nanda Baba ki jai. Shri Yashoda Maya ki jai. Shri Gopeshwar Mahadev. Sorry. Shri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Swami Mahārāja Śrīla Prabhupāda Vyas Puja ki jai.
Jai Ho.
Samagata Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.
Hare Hare Bo.
Vrindai Tulsi Devai Priyai Keshavascha Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Sattvatai Namo Namaha Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyai Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Dandavat Pranams Ndri Hari Prabhu.
Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna and Kishore Prabhu. Swapnal Joshi, Shubhananda Prabhu. And let's see on YouTube, Facebook, who's there? Vidya Lalasa Didi and Sharmaji, Angelo, Surevi Didi, Raseshwari Mataji, Ganga Mataji, and everybody else watching. Dandavat Pranams. Thanks for tolerating my sleepiness. As I said, I only slept 1 hour last night, and we're going to be starting another program in 1 hour from now. We're going to go to the room of Van Maharaj, and we're going to do Sajjan Maharaj is here, Padmanabha Maharaj, of course, and Bopadev Prabhu. We have these 3 Prabhupada disciples with us, and first we'll do Kirtan from 10 till 11:45, No, 10 till 10:45. And then we'll do Pushpanjali and Arati, Guru Puja. And then, Padmanabha Maharaj, Sajjan Maharaj, and Popodev Prabhu will all give their glorifications of Śrīla Prabhupada, 2 hours of glorifications. And then Prasad, that's what's happening here. That will start in 1 hour from now. I think the Padmanabha Maharaj's classes are all streamed on his Facebook page. And later on, the videos are uploaded to YouTube. So if you want to watch live the program, you can just go to Padmanabha Maharaj's Facebook page. All right.
Thank you, Prabhu. Pranam.
And let me know, like you can let me know tomorrow if you'd like to glorify and if you're feeling up to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
Jai Śrīla Prabhupāda ki jai.